What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video. Today we're breaking down the Patriots' 38th overall draft pick, Treveyon Henderson from Ohio State, so let's get right into it. With the 38th overall selection, the New England Patriots have selected Treveyon Henderson, a running back out of Ohio State. And me personally, I like the pick a lot. There was one other player on the board who I probably would have preferred at the wide receiver position, and of course that is Luther Burden. But if you were going to take a running back, you had to take this guy at this spot. Of course, his teammate went 2 spots before, and the Patriots just needed to add playmakers on this offense regardless of position, and that's what they got here with Treveyon Henderson. And I'm going to get into it a little later, but he actually ranked the highest out of any running back, of course tied with his teammate Judkins as well, on the athleticism score for running backs in this year's draft class. So he is a home run hitter and just an explosive player by any means. And he really does have the potential to be a 3-down back here. But he is 22 years old. In terms of height, he's around 5'10", and he's around 208 pounds from a weight perspective. And I believe he played 4 years at Ohio State. And taking a look at some of the comparisons across the league, I mean, I've seen comparisons to guys like Aaron Jones, guys like Ezekiel Elliott, like I alluded to before, because of his pass blocking. And this really is a player who has the ability to be a 3-down back just because of all the different ways he can make an impact on the game. Of course, through his rushing with the big play explosive potential there. He is actually a very good receiving back as well. You could move him along formations. You could put him in the backfield, line him up in the slot, or you can even move him out wide in the receiving game. And as I said before, he is one of the better blitz pickup backs in this league. And even just a couple seasons ago, we saw how much Ezekiel Elliott was able to kind of help out this offensive line. So if this offensive line does struggle, having a back like Treveyon Henderson here is only going to help Drake May in terms of putting pressure off him, whether it's handing the ball off, even picking up blitzes for him and allowing him to really move and be elusive in that pocket. So like I said before, I very much do like the selection here. And I think that this is going to be a home run type pick for the Patriots as long as Treveyon Henderson does stay healthy. Of course, he had a pretty big workload at Ohio State. But also you have 2 other guys on this roster, that being Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, who can kind of elude Treveyon Henderson of some snaps every now and again. So it really is going to be interesting to see where Treveyon Henderson is going to be on this running back depth chart to start off. I would probably slot him into that number 2 hole behind Ramondre Stevenson. But of course, I think that all 3 backs kind of have a different dimension for this Patriots offense. And I would not be surprised if we see a good amount of each one of them kind of getting these high snap counts. Very similar to some of the other Josh McDaniels-led systems where at times we would see a rotation of 3 backs, whether it was Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, and James White, or even Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson in his rookie year, and James White. So it's going to be very interesting, but I think that the Patriots added something that they did not have last year in this running back room, which is an explosive playmaker, and that is something that Treveyon Henderson would certainly provide for this Patriots running back room. But taking a look at Henderson's 2024 campaign, he played in 16 games. Of course, the Buckeyes won the national championship last year. He had an offensive grade of 88.4, a receiving grade of 75.1, a rushing grade of 91.8, a pass block grade of 48.9, and a run block grade of 66.1. He took 145 rushing attempts last year and came up with 1,010 yards. He averaged around 7 yards per attempt, added 10 touchdowns, averaged around 4.4 yards after contact, and he forced 37 missed tackles last year in that season alone. In the receiving game, he was targeted 30 times. He came up with 26 receptions for a reception rate of 86.7. He had around 281 receiving yards. He averaged around 11 yards per reception and a touchdown, and he only had 1 drop for a drop rate of around 3.7%. And take a look at his pass blocking snaps. He took 49 pass blocking snaps where he only allowed 3 pressures and 3 hurries. From a running back perspective, that is very impressive. And I just wanted to take a look by his snaps by alignment, mostly in the backfield here. However, don't let that fool you. There were times where in the Purdue game where Ohio State would put him out wide or in the slot, and he looked like a very good route runner from a wide receiver position, of course, being a running back. So there is a threat of having a multi-dimensional back here that can line up anywhere along the formation. But he took 458 snaps in the backfield compared to only 22 slot snaps and 10 out wide snaps. But this is a guy who I can very much see the Patriots moving out wide and trying to get a mismatch on a linebacker, or just potentially moving him out wide to kind of clear up some room up the middle for some other type routes across the middle of the field here. But like I said before, very versatile. And I kind of wanted to take a look at his career college statistics. Like I said before, he did have a pretty big workload. And take a look at his college career snaps. He took 590 career rushing attempts. He had around 3,759 yards. He averaged around 6.4 yards per rushing attempt. 42 touchdowns to only one fumble. And I took a look at the next gen stats here. I believe he had like a 0.01% fumble rate in college, which is extremely impressive. This guy does not fumble. Very good hands. Like I said before, that's going to translate well to the receiving game. But this is not a guy you have to worry about with fumbling. So maybe this is a guy who can help out Ramondre Stevenson a little bit here. But in college alone, he forced 130 missed tackles, and he had 2,200 or damn near 2,300 in yards after contact alone here. So this is a guy who's elusive, explosive. I think I've seen a stat where he had like 35 rushes of 10 plus yards alone. So this is a guy who can make plays, and it is pretty simple. The Patriots need themselves a playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below of what you think of the Patriots selection of Treveyon Henderson. Of course, there's going to be a couple third-round picks going on tonight as well, so expect some more videos there, and hopefully I'll check you all out in the next one.